The Alaska Railroad delivers the cargo that's arrived just in time for the Iditarod. And tonight, the 85 mushers find out where they will be in the starting lineup at the race this year. Plus, lawmakers are halfway through the session. We ask if they're halfway through the work.
And now,
Beans Cafe reopened today after a health scare. The reason the day shelter is still struggling to recover. And small gains on it is a big night at the Dena'ina Center. That's where the Mushers Banquet is, and Dave Goldman is there, and we'll check in with him after the break.
And we have one more day of sunshine, then the weather pattern changes once again. I'll let you know who's going to be looking at some rain showers and when. Meanwhile, here's your daylight forecast for tomorrow. Sunrise 7:49, doesn't go down until 6:35.
The Alaska Railroad comes to the rescue. What they brought just in time for the Iditarod.
0 deaths on Anchorage's roads, how the mayor plans to make it happen.
And starting from scratch, this year's Iditarod has been a real reality check for Dee Genre. John Tracy has her story.
and now,
Shut down for 2 weeks, Beans Cafe reopened today.
Staff says the problem is fixed, but they're still struggling to recover. How they plan to make sure it never happens again.
Hillary Clinton's staff is in Alaska ahead of the Democratic caucus, how they're convincing Alaskans to choose Hillary. It's a chance to get authentic Alaskan art.
And meet the artists, the place you can find one-of-a-kind items.
And will you need the shades or an umbrella for the Iditarod ceremonial start on Saturday? Carlos in next to let us know.
Hi, I'm Rachel Penton.
And I'm Megan Mazurek. Tomorrow on Daybreak, celebrating the volunteer work Alaskans do day in and day out. First Lady Donna Walker discusses the volunteer awards and how you can nominate someone.
And they call themselves Alaska's hottest new band. Danger Money joins us for a mic check in the morning. It all begins at 6 a.m. on KTVA 11's Daybreak.
Well, hundreds of her closest friends will join her on the trail.
How Dee Genre is making it to the Iditarod this year with a little help from her friends, most of them who've never met her. John Tracy is next with Reality Check.
And wildfire season has come a little early this year, how firefighters in the valley are preparing.
And coming up, firefighters got to an early morning fire in just minutes.
But it would take hours to put out. The problems crews faced at this fire near Lake Otis.
And what a rock folk group from Seward was doing in Washington, D.C. with a nationally famous tree. And how you can see them live here in Anchorage. Gains in oil prices.
Well, still to come, hope for patients with MS.
When other treatments fail, one alternative may slow the disease.
And just when you start getting used to all this sunshine, the weather pattern changes. I'll tell you what that means for us here in South Central coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, hopefully the mushers won't need too much pain medication after
Right?
this year's Iditarod.
Well, I'll tell you what, right now it's, kind of a little late to start worrying about that because we're only 2 days away from the last great race. Dave Goldman talks with one of the mushers before he starts his 1,000-mile trek across Alaska.